What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with 3 reviews. The first one up is going to be Real Housewives of Atlanta, followed by Potomac, followed by Power Book 2. So this is Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is season 13, episode number 3. The episode was titled 10-10-20. Honestly, you guys, this episode was very fillerish for me. It didn't give me much at all. Because after a certain point in the episode, I'm like, damn, is this a filler episode already at episode 3? Is this telling of the season? All right, you guys. So let's go ahead and jump into the episode review, shall we? All right, you guys. Now, you guys know I normally say, let's get the small stuff out the way, but hell, everything in this episode was small. Let's talk about Portia since she opened the episode. So we see Portia. So you guys, she was back in Kentucky. It was 165 days since she had been there before, protesting for, Breonna Taylor. And, watching this story again, it's just heartbreaking to know nothing was done. The wanton endangerment to the people who were to the people who were asleep in their apartments, but this innocent woman, I'm not even gonna go into that. Not gonna go into it. So Portia, you guys, we all know she was arrested after, arrested once again. And she said this time she felt like they were trying to make an example of her, and she was one of the last ones to be released from jail. So then later in the episode, we see Portia. So Portia introduces us to a new, I think she's a friend of the show. Her name is Fallon. And so she goes to pick up Tanya. Oh my God, it's Tanya. I love Tanya, but I know that this might be Tanya's last season because of, all the stuff that's going to come out later in the season. So, Portia, it's Tanya, and it's Lauren, her sister. So they're going to Fallon's house. And, on their way there, they're talking about quarantine. And, they're talking about their relationship with the man, at one point, Tanya's talking about, it was really good being at home with Paul. But then, at some points, you just get to the point where you just want him to go, but there's nowhere for him to go. And, Portia talks about she and Coach Dennis. We all know how that situation ended. They're not together. So then, they make it over there to, what's her name again? Fallon. They make it to Fallon's home. Now, I was looking down and writing my notes at the time. So when I looked up, I saw that old guy. I'm like, who is this? I'm like, is this her daddy? And then I'm like, that's her husband. I'm like, oh, okay. I wasn't being shady, but I was like, oh, that was her dad. So they have, they do some hookah, they play in the pool. Man, when Tanya took off that her had her bathing suit, I'm like, damn, Tanya is thick, like thick. All right, Tanya, I see you. So, then they, discuss the whole situation out there in Kentucky. They talk about, Jacob Blake. I just don't want to, I'm here for the social justice stuff, but I don't want to relive that. I really don't want to relive that stuff because it was hard enough living it once. And then you have to live it, you got to go through with this show. I'm here for the message. I just don't want to relive this shit again. I really don't. But let's move on, you guys. All right, you guys. Next, let's talk about Drew. So Drew, I guess it's the Sunday morning because they were with her mother and they were rehearsing for her sermon. Drew was cooking for them kids, cooking some pancakes. And I'm like, are those pancakes? Because they didn't look like pancakes. They don't look like no pancakes that I've ever cooked or ever cooked, bought, or anything. They actually look like biscuits. They actually look like really, really brown biscuits. I don't know. So as they're going over the sermon, they ask her mother, what is the sermon about? I really wasn't listening to what she said the sermon was about, but I do know she is referencing the situation that happened with Drew and Ralph in the previous episode. The thing I will say about Drew and Ralph is, maybe this show could, shine a light on things that are a problem in their relationship. But we do know with most reality shows, when people come on reality shows and they have issues in their relationships, they get a divorce. I.e., Shannon Beador from Real Housewives of Orange County, Tamra, Orange County, Vicky, Orange County. Who else? Teresa from New Jersey. Who else has gotten a divorce? Phaedra and Apollo. Cynthia and Peter. Portia and Cordell. Nene and Greg. Who else in Housewives has gotten a divorce? I mean, yeah, reality shows. I mean, look at Kirk and Rashida from Atlanta, of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. They have a toxic relationship. So when Drew's mom told what the sermon was about, Ralph got very, very defensive. I'm like, dude, she's just telling you what she saw, and you getting defensive. But what her mom is saying is very much true. Like, I hope Ralph is looking at this show and saying, damn, I come off like an asshole. So speaking of him being an asshole, so he and Drew, I guess that the house that they're living in, they're renting it. So they're getting ready to move into a house that they're going to buy. I mean, Drew was trying to, do stuff with him as far as the house. He's talking about just pack this house up and he'll deal with all the business stuff. I'm like, damn, what a rude ass motherfucker. I mean, the way that he was talking to Drew, man, I promise you, if it was me, Ralph would have been missing every last one of his motherfucking teeth talking to me in that manner. I know, get the fuck out of here. But let's move on, you guys. All right, you guys, next up, let's talk about Kenya. So we see LaToya goes over to Kenya's house. And I gotta say, with this relationship between Kenya and LaToya, it just, I'm trying to figure out the word to say. It feels forced. That's what it feels. It feels a little bit forced to me. Because it's just weird. And I guess the reason why it feels a little weird is because of Kenya. Because we know most time when people come on the show, Kenya doesn't gravitate toward people like that. So it's just a little off-putting, I guess you could say. But I mean, it is what it is. They're cool. They cool. I'm cool. I really don't care. It's just a little off-putting, just to say the least. So here's my thing. Like, I want to like LaToya. I really do want to like her. But she's making it so hard to not like her. Like, I get it. You came on this show. I get it. You want to prove to people that you actually I can actually see why they did not give her a peach. I see it. It's just like she's putting on too much. I know she's a YouTuber, but I've never watched her channel. Actually, at this point, I don't think I ever will watch her channel. It's just a lot. And then she's still sitting here talking about Drew's wig. Her and Kenya. Now, Drew, if you guys go to Drew Sidora's not Instagram, her Twitter page, Drew shaded the shit out of Kenya. I don't know if this was I think this was from last season. So the picture of Kenya, her head is down. So Kenya's real hair is right here, but then right here, starting right here, you can see her wig. Drew shaded the shit out of Kenya, and I was actually here for it. It was funny to me. I'm just not understanding what the issue is between Kenya, Drew, and LaToya. And honestly, it just seemed like it's one-sided, to be quite honest with you. It just feels like it's all Kenya and Drew. Not Kenya and Drew, Kenya and LaToya. So then they talk about Kenya's divorce. She said she's gonna move forward with the divorce. Now, Kenya, I'm gonna have to be honest with you with this one. I am tired of this situation with you and Mark. Because she was on Watch What Happens Live. Was it last Sunday? I think she was on Watch What Happens Live. And, Andy asked her about, the status of her and Mark's relationship. And she said that, she and Mark, he filed for divorce. But then 24 hours later, he took, he contested it. Well, not contested. He unfiled, or whatever you want to say. I did see a picture of them, with Brooklyn. But the thing is, Kenya, how are you in a long distance marriage? That's the issue. He's still in New York, right? And he wants to work on his family. It is what it is. If it works for Kenny and Mark, more power to them, and I do actually wish them the best. But let's move on. All right, you guys. Next up is Candy and Cynthia and Kenya. So, whenever I get to Candy, I think I'm gonna just talk like Candy for the entire duration. So Candy and Cynthia and Kenya are working out. You know, they've all put on weight with quarantine. They've all put on weight with quarantine. Yes, that's better. You know, Kenya has put on about, she said after she had Brooklyn, she was 155 and now she's about 180 something pounds. So you do the math. And you know, Cynthia is just trying to lose weight for the wedding. I don't know why Candy is trying to lose weight. The one thing I will say about all of the ladies is they looked really good. They all, okay, I gotta stop with that because it's irritating me. I will say that they all do look good with the weight on them. Like, they all look good. So, I don't see any of them. I don't see Mike. I don't see Todd complaining about Cynthia and Candy gaining weight. I can't speak for Mark because I just can't read Mark. But a part of me says with Mark, the marriage is, shut up. So Cynthia's talking about her wedding to Mike, and you know, she's talking about COVID protocol and everything. We're gonna talk about Cynthia in just a minute about this whole COVID situation, but you know, she's also talking about the fact they asked her, about prenup. Had they signed one? She says, they've talked about it, but they haven't gone through the whole process of the prenup yet. Candy tells her, well, what I would suggest to you is when it comes to the prenup, do it sooner rather than later, because me and Todd, we had a big issue about the prenup. And if we had an issue going into the marriage about the prenup. So my suggestion to you is sign, get everything, finalized before you get married. I agree with Candy. Cynthia, do it now. Since you guys are planning a wedding, while you're planning a wedding, plan out your prenup. And I agreed, I agree with when it comes to a prenup, I do agree with the whole situation of, what's mine, it's mine. What's yours, yours. Now, what we build together in the marriage, we can split that. But anything that I came into the marriage with, you ain't taking. Like, oh God. This is one thing that this is one of the reasons why I don't really want to get married. I don't want to take on nobody else's debt. Like, I don't want to take on nobody's debt. Like, I'm trying to get myself out of debt, which I'm doing a good job of it. Like, I don't want to get with somebody like, I have been binge watching Girlfriends, like with Tony when she married Todd, and Todd didn't tell her he was in debt, that he didn't have no money. I don't want no situation like that. No. But let's move on, you guys, and wrap this episode up. Damn. Yeah, you guys, I was right. This is a filler episode. So Cynthia and Mike are the last two we're going to talk about. So Cynthia and Mike, the wedding date was 10/10/20. We know the wedding happened. We saw the wedding pictures. We saw, that she had her 250 guests, which I thought I'm talking about that in just a minute. Her 250 guests. So we saw her with Mal, and she was telling Mal, what the bridesmaids are gonna wear, what the guests are gonna wear. All the guests wore black, and she told her what she and Mike wore. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. With Cynthia and Mike's, the dress, the reception dress, the reception outfit, and the wedding outfits, I didn't like them. They were ugly, very ugly. Just keeping it real. Like I still think about this to this day. How did you let one of your friends come to the wedding and upstage you? Because Portia upstaged Cynthia. Hate to say it, Cynthia, but she did. So they go look at the wedding venue. Now I will say though that the wedding venue was really, really nice. Mal joined them. Now, we done with these notes at this point. Cynthia actually got on my nerves with this whole situation. We're in the middle of a pandemic. We're still in the pandemic. we're just now getting a vaccine. We don't know if this vaccine is 100%. Actually, we know it's not 100%. What is it, 99.9% or something like that? That ain't good enough for me. That's not good enough for me. But I mean, Georgia hasn't been following the rules for a while now. But neither is Texas. We're not following the rules here either, so I can't really judge Atlanta or Georgia because we ain't following the rules here. 2 Republican states. What was I about to say? So yeah, and it's so funny. Mike is a level-headed one. Mike is like, I want to marry you regardless. I don't care if it's just me and you, if it's me, you and 50 people, if it's me, you, your mama, your sister, my kids, Noel. As long as he marries Cynthia, that's all he wants. But Cynthia wants this whole big pomp and circumstance for the wedding. I get it, Cynthia. I get what you want. But it's not like you haven't been married before. You had that wedding with Peter. Although it was a shit show, you had a wedding with Peter. Like, I don't understand Cynthia. Like I said, it's just her being selfish at this point, I feel. And she kept going back and forth, with Mike. Because he was like, so if it comes down to the date and you can't have the people that you want to have, are we not going to get married? And they actually got into it about that. And I was 100% on Mike's side the whole entire time. Like, why can't you just have a small wedding? It's okay you can still have your wedding date of 10/10/20, and then just have your big party once once we're out of this pandemic, once it's safe for people to gather and everything. But y'all, you doing the most, Cynthia, and it's like I said, it's annoying at this point. What else? Like, it's just annoying and it's selfish. And then she said that people talk about people talk about the wedding. No, people will talk about how beautiful your wedding was, but what's more important is your marriage. You can have the most. And she was talking about people. If you have, what did she say? It was something about the wedding is like a precursor to the marriage or something like that. You could have the most beautiful, elaborate wedding ever, but your marriage could be the worst marriage. It could be a shit show. It could be a disaster. The wedding has nothing to do with your actual marriage. Cynthia blew me, honestly. But that's it for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's move on to Real Housewives of Potomac. So you guys like this video, leave your comments, and subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification button so you guys are aware of when I drop anything else, and share this video. Until the next time, you guys, stay safe, take care of yourselves. Remember, wash your hands and wear your mask, because the face shields were bothering me. Wear your mask. Socially distance, and until the next one, you guys, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and I will see you guys later. I probably repeated that, but whatever. I'll see you in Real Housewives of Potomac.